In this video, we will learn about how to use relation expressions in our services. For this purpose, we will continue to use the dummy model that we created in our previous video on arithmetic expressions. We will just add a new field called condition of type Boolean. Okay, and let's go to the service definition. As you might remember, we are just creating a dummy object in memory and returning back the created object as a response. For the field updates, we don't need the integer one right now. We will be working on the condition. Okay. For relational expressions, at the end, evaluates to a true or false value, a Boolean value. We've got equality, not equal, greater than, or greater or equal, less than or less or equal. Kind of, let's say, relational expressions. So let's start with a simple one. Let's assign a false value to this condition and let's see how it performs. I'm opening the test panel and going to this method, create dummy object method. Let's run it. In this case, the condition is false. Okay, so let's do some additional things here, such as, for example, for larger than greater than 3.99. Okay, this should evaluate to true. So let's see. As you can see, it evaluated to true. Let's assume that we already providing an integer parameter. Let's assume that we are using this integer parameter and to check some condition, right? Let's assume that int param, whether this integer parameter is equal to 20 or not, right? If I go back to our test panel, if I put here, let's say 21, it should evaluate to false because input parameter is not 20. If I put here 20, it should evaluate to true. Okay. What happens if I put here 20.5, but it doesn't allow because this is a integer value? What I need to do is, in order to change the thing, I need to go back here, make it decimal. Okay. And if I go back here right now, it will allow me to do that thing. This will evaluate to false. Okay. In this expressions, I can also use some functions, right? Let's run a round function. We got round down here. Okay. Let's put here round down. This is this number, decimal places. We don't want any kind of decimal places. And then check whether this number is equal to 20 or not. Let's run this. In this case, it evaluated to true because we have rounded down 20.5 to 20. Then check 20 if whether 20 is equal to 20. Okay. Other things that you can do is not, right? For example, let's put here 25. Will be 20 will be equal to 25. If it's not equal to 25, it will return true. Yes, correct. Okay. Let's put here, let's say smaller than, will 20 smaller than 25? Yes, it will return true. Okay, it is larger than 25, it will return false. What happens if I put here 25.5? It will again condition as false because 25 is not equal, is not greater than 25. So if I put it equal to, this will return true in this case. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, there are a couple of, let's say, relational operators that you can use. The equality check is this one, not equality check is this one, greater than, less than, greater or equal, less or equal. Another thing you can also check, for example, text whether the text values are whether an input text value is equal to some other text value. So let me give you an example here. Let's add another parameter. Let me remove this one. Let's add another parameter. Let's say text. Okay, this is of type text. And in here, we will write here saying that, hey, the input text parameter, whether it is equal to, let's say, John. Okay. Let's go back testing this thing. So we've got here, let's put here Mary. Okay, this should evaluate to false. If I put here John, this will evaluate to true. So in terms of equality and not equality, you can also do these text value checks. Okay, so for example, if I put here not equal, this will false, but if I put here Mary, it will evaluate true. Okay, So that's it for relational expressions. I mean, as I mentioned, you can write quite complex expressions using the input field values, but also the functions, available functions. In the succeeding video, we will be talking about logical expressions. Thanks a lot for watching.